Welcome everyone to Serious History. Today we are diving into the darkest archives where the line between genius and absolute madness completely disappears for science. On the table before me lies a stack of files marked Top Secret. They are the kinds of documents you are not supposed to see, but we will. We are talking about scientists with infinite IQ, but zero ethics. These experiments were not for the faint of heart or those who actually value human rights. Prepare yourselves for a countdown of the top 5 most insane scientific endeavors in human history. As we go down the list, the horror only intensifies significantly. Buckle up, because these are not your average school lab projects. These are real-life nightmares fueled by unlimited budgets and a total lack of moral compass. Number 5 brings us to the Cold War and the CIA's brilliant idea. They decided to spend $20 million on a project called Acoustic Kitty. The plan was simple: turn a cat into a living, breathing listening device. They surgically implanted a microphone, a transmitter, and an antenna into a poor feline. The cat looked absolutely confused, basically embodying the shocked Pikachu meme. It had no idea it was now the most expensive piece of tech in Washington. The mission was to eavesdrop on 2 Soviet agents sitting on a park bench. It was the ultimate test for the CIA's multi-million-dollar feline spy asset. But cats will be cats. Instead of listening to state secrets about nuclear silos, the cat decided that a nearby piece of trash smelled much more interesting. Then disaster struck in the most mundane way possible. A taxi sped through the street, and 5 minutes into the mission, the project was over forever. The cat was gone, and $20 million of taxpayer money evaporated in a split second. The CIA agents could only stand there in total disbelief. It was a literal roadkill of an experiment. It turns out that cats are not the most reliable employees, even when you pack them with high-tech electronics. This was a prime example of high-level government spending going completely wrong. They tried to play God with a pet, and the pet chose lunch instead. The CIA officially abandoned the project shortly after, realizing that you just cannot train a cat to care about the geopolitics of the global Cold War. Moving to number 4, we enter a much darker chapter. This is the Tuskegee syphilis study, a story of betrayal by those sworn to heal people. In Alabama, doctors promised free health care to poor African-American men, but instead of medicine, they were given placebo sugar water and nothing else at all. The goal was not to cure them, but to watch how the disease ravaged their bodies over time. Well, it was a purely observational study of human suffering. For 40 long years, these men were lied to. Even when penicillin became the standard cure for the disease, the doctors withheld it from the patients. They wanted to see the end result, which was almost always death. It was cold, calculated, and carried out by the United States Public Health Service. This experiment left a scar on the history of medicine that still hasn't fully healed. It is a reminder of what happens when science lacks a soul. Hundreds of men died, and many of their families were infected, all in the name of a study that provided no real new scientific value anyway. Number 3 takes us into the mind-bending world of MKUltra. This was the CIA's attempt to master the art of brainwashing using illegal drug substances. They dosed unsuspecting citizens, soldiers, and even their own agents with massive amounts of LSD. They wanted to see if they could control human minds. The victims had no idea why their reality was melting. Suddenly, the world became a kaleidoscope of terror and confusion for these poor, unwilling test subjects. Instead of becoming super spies, people just ended up talking to walls and staring at their own hands for 10 hours. It was a total psychedelic mess. The researchers watched from behind one-way mirrors, taking notes as lives were being destroyed. The ethics were non-existent, and the results were mostly just hallucinations. When the project was finally exposed, the CIA tried to shred every single document. They wanted to erase this extraordinary failure from the history books forever. Brace yourselves, because number 2 is where the horror becomes unbearable. We are talking about Unit 731, the secret biological warfare unit of Japan. In occupied China, they set up a laboratory of horrors. The victims were not called people, and they were referred to as Maruda, which means logs. They were subjected to pressure chambers, frostbite tests, and live dissections without any anesthesia. It was science stripped of every single ounce of human compassion. To these doctors, the victims were just data points. They ghoulishly recorded the exact moment of death, then simply moved on to the next log available. This wasn't just war, it was a factory of death. Thousands perished in ways that are too graphic to even describe in a standard history video. The world eventually found out, but the leaders of Unit 731 were given immunity by the US in exchange for their twisted research data. Truly horrifying. It is a dark reminder that sometimes the pursuit of knowledge can lead men to become monsters that are far worse than any fictional beast. Finally, we reach number 1, the ultimate peak of scientific insanity. And welcome to the Soviet Union and the work of Dr. Sergei Brukhonenko. Brukhonenko was obsessed with one thing: cheating death. He created the autojector, a primitive heart-lung machine designed to keep organs alive outside of a body. In 1940, he demonstrated something that shocked the world. He kept a severed dog's head alive and responsive, completely independent of its physical body. The head would flinch at loud noises, and its eyes would follow a light around the room. It was a Frankenstein-like nightmare brought to real life. It even reacted to stimuli, licking its own nose when prompted. It was proof that life could be maintained mechanically, but at a very high cost. The experiment was both fascinating and deeply disturbing. Seeing a head react to a sour lemon while having no lungs or heart was pure madness. Brukhonenko was hailed as a hero of Soviet science, but the rest of the world looked on with a mix of awe and total disgust. Was he a visionary who paved the way for modern life support, or just a man playing God with a tray and some rubber tubes? This experiment remains the gold standard for mad science. It pushes the boundaries of what we consider life and what we consider a crime. So, we have seen cats as spies, poisoned farmers, psychedelic brainwashing, death camps, and immortal dog heads. History is truly a terrifying place. It makes you wonder what kind of experiments are happening right now in secret labs that we won't hear about for another 50 years. Remember, the pursuit of knowledge is a powerful thing, but without a moral anchor, it quickly turns into a very expensive horror movie. Don't try any of this at home or in a secret government bunker. Your cat wouldn't appreciate it, and neither would the rest of humanity. If you enjoyed this trip into the dark side of history, make sure to hit that subscribe button before the CIA's acoustic kitty finds you. Thank you for watching Serious History. We will be back soon with more files that were never meant to see the light of day. Stay curious, stay ethical, and for heaven's sake, keep your pets away from surgical antennas. We will see you in the next dark file. Goodbye for now. The archives are closing, but the secrets are still out there, waiting for the next brave soul to uncover their truth. The fine line between being a visionary and being a villain is often just a matter of who is funding your laboratory's electric bill. Science is the most powerful tool we have, but like any tool, it can build a cathedral, or it can burn everything to the ground. Keep tuning into our channel. We have plenty more stories of the strange, the bizarre, and the downright terrifying parts of our human past. Some doors are meant to stay locked, but here at Serious History, we believe in opening every single one of them for you. Money, power, and a lack of oversight. That is the recipe for every single entry on our list today. It is a recurring pattern. We must learn from these mistakes so that the progress of the future isn't built on the skeletons of the past's most vulnerable people. Sometimes the most advanced agencies in the world are just groups of people with too much money and very little common sense available. The Soviet era was full of strange experiments that seem like they belong in a sci-fi movie rather than in actual history books. Our very nature as explorers makes us want to push boundaries, but we must always ask, at what cost are we doing this? Ethics isn't just a hurdle for progress, it is the safety rail that keeps us from falling into the abyss of our own making. The archives of history are vast. For every story we told today, there are 1,000 more still waiting in the dark shadows. When we study the past, when we are really just looking at a mirror of what we are capable of if we lose our way. Time might bury the evidence, but the truth has a funny way of crawling back out to the surface eventually for all to see. It's time for me to sign off. The shadows are getting long and the secrets are becoming heavy. I need a break from madness. Maybe that cat in your backyard isn't just a cat. Maybe it's a $20 million spy. You really never know these days, do you? Don't forget to like the video if you found these stories as fascinatingly horrible as I did. It really helps the channel grow a lot. And hit the bell so you never miss a new episode of Serious History. We have much more to show you in the future. The truth is often stranger than fiction and much more terrifying. Sleep well tonight if you can after hearing these 5 historical tales. This has been a production of Serious History. We explore the parts of the past that others are too afraid to even mention. Signing off now. Watch your back, stay ethical, and remember, science is watching you even when you aren't watching science back. Good night.